Good evening, viewers, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the very first time, The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment or realization of one's purpose or gift. And in these conversations, we aim to shed the light on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindsets that our guests have to overcome to achieve the current position in their career. These are their stories. Dun, dun. I'm gonna get that sound from Law and Order that goes at the end. But anyways, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, my guest for tonight, I've invited one of South Africa's most loved personalities. She's a former presenter on Parcella, which used to be on SABC2, top 12 finalist for Miss South Africa. Now, Mishka influences positively on social media. And you can also hear her voice on Group FM as the news and traffic presenter. And some of you might actually recognize her for appearing as Stacy on Saint Oyster. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please help me welcome to the screen with your likes and your shares and your hearts and everything and your laughs, whatever you guys do on this social thing. Anyways, please welcome to the screen, Mishka Loesch.
What an intro, my friend. What an intro. You were made for this. You were born to do this.
Thank you. Thank you. Here their future sponsors. Here they
I love that. I love that. Silent plug. Silent plug.
Yeah, you gotta make it. You gotta make it happen. Listen, Mishka, you look wonderful tonight. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to say, listen, don't let this half of my frame fool y'all, because down there it's business, up here, down there it's all pajamas.
Slow feet pajamas.
I'm telling you, this whole working from home thing, I mean, I would have loved to, have this interview with you face to face. But this is what our reality is. And I mean, I love what you have done with your show. I love what the message is, but your production, my friend, is insane.
Oh, shout out to the selector. That's the Huckleberry Media. They behind the production. They make sure that I look so fantastic, and they also kick me in the butt if I'm not on point.
Absolutely.
So hands up. I'm not doing this alone. Everybody has to know that there's always a team behind all this great success. Thank you so much.
It takes a whole village. It takes a village to help us, look as good and have the production as amazing. And I know Saskia is phenomenal, and I know Huckleberry Media, so big thumbs up to them as well.
Yeah. Shout out to Selector. Mishka. Wow. It's such a really, because guys, I know Mishka personally. We've actually interacted personally, and
You've been to my wedding. You've been to my wedding.
Yeah, people actually like, hey, I saw you on TV, that wedding thing and Mishka's thing. I was like, yep. So yeah.
It's funny, they still air it. They still air the whole engagement. You remember on the boat? You came to my engagement party as well.
Yes.
So they're still airing it. Free airtime,
Wow. That's so awesome. And how has 2021 actually been treating you in terms of business or career-wise? I don't know. Because
2020. Yes, so 2020, we all know 2020 is the one year that we all wish never happened. But I feel, in all honesty, with 2021, even though personally I feel it's kind of continuing from 2020, but I chose to make the best of it. I think the world has gotten used to our new way of living, our new life. I mean, for me, the weirdest thing to get used to was not being able to interact with, for instance, with you. I mean, I work from home, even for radio, Good Hope FM on weekends. It's through a system called Clean Feed. So when you hear me, I'm actually at home, but you can still hear me. It's like a whole different, my mindset personally had to change so much. when it comes to work, because work opportunities for us in the industry, I can't speak for you, Lunga, but for me, work got less. The first initial 5 weeks of lockdown, I was scared for my life. I thought, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to pay the car, the insurance? And for some odd reason, God is really good. And he got me through the initial 5 weeks of lockdown. But mentally, it was, and I'm sure it's not me, I speak for a lot of people. It's been really hard. And 2020, even 2021, even though it's been better, I can't say it's been great. And that's just from a personal point of view.
Yeah, no, true, because like within my case, I'm finding it like it's a very slow start, and now things are starting to pick up. But also, you're not sure where this is heading. It's not telling you. We don't know that it's gonna be over like in the next month or two. So you don't know if you don't know if you want to start the project or you want to start something big. You're still like iffy. You're just basically going with whatever's available right now.
Exactly.
Like that. So yeah, no, it's the same for me. It's exactly the same for me. I experienced most of 2020 actually not gigging at all.
Sure.
I had a brilliant plan in the beginning of the year. Like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and I'm changing my direction, and so many things are gonna happen. And then we just all got hit by Corona and everything like that, and that just changed so many things, not just in my industry, in so many other industries. And we just had to like kind of like get used to it. And this also is like the new normal, with us doing shows like this, And like you're saying, I would have loved to do this live and interact with you, and like exchange energy, but unfortunately we have to do it this way. And I don't know for how long we're gonna have to do it this way, but this is the new normal. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, Mishka, you've had an amazing career, and wow, it's really it's something really admirable. It's someone like, I think I can see young girls who actually know your journey, actually looking at you and being like, I actually want to be like Mishka. And I want to know, we want to take it all the way back to the young, to like before you even knew about the industry, it hit you, when you grew the passion for the industry that you're in. How did it all start? And what is it that built the character that made you start? What was a spark in the beginning?
So let me start off by saying I was raised in an extremely, I don't know if my family is watching, but I was raised in an extremely strict household where you can't even, oh Lord, you cannot think about modeling or being on camera, or never mind being in a bikini in front of a camera. Like I was raised, and I'm so thankful for the way I was raised. I didn't understand when I was younger, but today I'm really grateful for the way my dad raised me with a business mindset. It was always, you either become a doctor, a lawyer. I mean, my surname was Patel. Hello, that should say a lot.
Yes.
So basically, I had a very normal childhood. I had have an older brother who kept me on my toes, who broke my arm a couple of times, and I broke his a couple of times. The normal.
That's love.
So when I did my first taste of the industry was when I was 20, turning 21, and my now husband, Donovan, who he entered me from South Africa. Nice. And as a 20-year-old, you do not think of, especially a 20-year-old who was raised the way I was raised, you don't ever look at a Miss South Africa as a next step in life. Because as a 20-year-old, you're trying to find your feet. You're still a baby, in my opinion. I was still a baby. And when I got that initial phone call saying I'm in the top 100 and I need to come to an audition, and I'm like, wait, hold up. A what? An audition for what, first of all? Because I didn't know I was entered. So my first taste of our industry was ending up in the top 12 of Miss South Africa in 2014, the year that Rolene Strauss won Miss World. And as a girl who was severely bullied on school, I never saw or thought for a split second that I would even make it in the top 100. I had confidence issues. I solidly believed the things that people would tell me. And even up until even when I ended up in Miss South Africa being a finalist, I would still have people tell me, like, you, the girl from Ida's Valley, you will never make it. And not just one, not just two, not just three, like hundreds. If I can say it, it's been hundreds of people who doubted me. But the moment I realized, okay, girl, you just got into the top 12, that should say something. That boosted my confidence. Because I thought, if I could do this after Miss South Africa, what more can I do? So from there, as a 21-year-old, then the ball started rolling. I had a hunger because I was so deprived because of myself, because of my own mentality. I held myself back, doubting. And yes, I had a lot of naysayers who are no longer part of my life. Some of them I don't even know. And it took so much time for me to realize the opinion of someone else about you has nothing to do with you. And I had to realize that. And when I did, my friend, I did Miss Earth, I did Miss South Africa, I did Miss Veet South Africa, I did presenter search on 3. I took every single opportunity that came my way. I took it with both hands because I thought, you know what, if these opportunities come my way, how dare I not take them? How dare I not take the opportunities that are presented to me on a table? And I think the moment where it all started clicking was in 2015. I lost my mother to cancer in September of 2015. And my baby sister was then 4. And I just realized, like, how short life is. And how dare I waste my energy and my time on listening to what anyone else is trying to say to me to keep me, withhold me from moving forward, when life can change like this. And that's the moment that everything started clicking.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. And I believe, like you've mentioned some like really like life-changing challenges that you've actually experienced on the way, you know. With the bullying part, I can relate so much there because I was also bullied on primary school and growing up. And for a very long time, like you said, there was a point where you actually had to overcome and be like, listen, their opinions do not define who I am, you know. And before you realize that, there's that crawling and there's that doubt you have towards yourself. Your soul is telling you, do this. You know, you'll do it in your private space. You'll sing in the mirror or whatever, but you will never show anyone, or you'll never take that chance when the show comes to your school and you're like, who can do this? Like, who can sing or who can, and you're like, you know, you can, but you're like, no.
Exactly.
All the voices, you know, and it becomes, you hear it so much that you actually tell yourself that you even
begin to believe it.
You stop yourself before you even tell anyone, listen, I think I can sing, or I think I can do this. And I also had to, that was also one of my challenges for a very long time, because I believed the voices, you know, because I was like, you know, I'm one person seeing the light, and there's so many people around me saying like, nah, you can't do it. Like, nah, what would you do? You're not going to make it, you know?
Exactly.
So then you believe that until it was only once you start spending more time with different people who see a different potential in you, and then they actually highlight that part, or they take it further, and you're like, wow, people actually see me like that, you know, and you'd be like, I've actually wanted to always do this, you know, and then people provide a platform for you, then you actually grow in there. So that's amazing. That's what helped me, you know, realize that once you started listening to other voices, and you actually with them and actually listen to them and believe in them, you find actually there's growth versus listening to the other voices where there's no growth because you stop.
Amen. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Said also that you grew up in a very, very strict household, right? So, and it was basically your husband, who's your husband now, who kind of like opened the door for you, like just look in that direction. Now, in the beginning, growing up, was it easy for you to tell your dad, like, listen, this is the direction I actually want to go now? Because I mean, you only hit at 20, right? I mean, so for the longest time, he probably believed that you were going a certain direction and you hit like, nah, this is what I want to do. And you've even had confidence because you overcame so many things. Even your mom's passing propelled you forward, you know, in things of like, life is too short. It just added to your, of like, what else can I do? It just added to your flame, you know? How was that conversation, breaking it down with your dad? Was it some first time like, hey, Dad, this is where I am now, and I don't know.
Like I said, you know,
how did it get too smooth? Is it still like?
So no, I can actually say I have a very supportive dad. He's very, very supportive now. It took him time, but I will say the conversation, I kind of told him when I was already in the top 100, kind of told him after I went for my interview. And at first, as any dad would be, because there's a lot of misconceptions around what Miss South Africa is and that it's just a pageant. When I entered, why I entered is because I thought, and I know it's beauty with a purpose. So you have a purpose. It's a purpose-driven year. And when I told him, I sat him down in my room, and it's kind of a blur, and he didn't support the decision because shame, you have to be on a bikini on stage for the entire South Africa to see, because back then it was still on Mzansi, I'm not sure. And it was the entire journey for 6 months. It was televised. So every week, Miss South Africa would come on and he would never know what to expect. So I understood that. I understood the way he raised me, and I understood that he doesn't want to see his baby girl in a bikini. I get that. But I have to say, the night of Miss South Africa, my dad flew in to Johannesburg. He was right in front, and he was cheering for me the moment I walked out in my bikini, my ball gown, and he was unbelievably supportive and has been ever since. And he's never questioned my decisions. He's never questioned my career choices ever since then, when I was 21. And up until today, he's just been a phenomenal dad. And he's also been through a lot. He's raising my now 10-year-old sister, who lost her mom. He lost his wife 2 months prior to losing our mom. He lost his mom unexpectedly. So it's been a whirlwind of a journey for both of us. But he's honest and truly been, I couldn't have asked for a better father.
Yeah. No, your father's amazing. I had the opportunity of meeting him at the blessing. Yeah, it was at your wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought he had a magnificent speech that he said everyone was.
Everyone thinks that.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
And he was just full of like, he looked like a very happy man, like he's so at peace. He looked like a monk in a suit, if I could put it that way.
Oh.
Smiling, and he was just like so happy to greet everyone, and just was just happy to see his daughter, you know, take the next step in life, I guess. That's something I would also want to see one day, you know, so I'll understand that feeling one day. But yeah, he was a very happy and peaceful man. You could see that in his energy.
He is. Thank you for saying that.
Oh no, thank you very much. And in terms of people saying like, oh no, she's not gonna do it, you know, all of that, when for you did you realize that the comments coming to you started to flip now from who is she's not gonna make it, to she's amazing, wow, you're so awesome, you inspire me? When did you experience that flip in your career?
So at the beginning of my journey with Miss South Africa, Miss Veet, and then Miss Earth, and then doing presenter search, there was a lot of talks about being an opportunist, which in my opinion, up until today, I see no problem with being an opportunist, because if you don't take your opportunities, where you're going to be in life? That's how I think. That's how I explain it to myself. And a lot of people at the beginning, of course, if you're not in the industry long enough and no one knows who you are, people will question that when you post something or when you do something or when you're on a national TV show like Expresso or Afternoon Express or whatever the case may be. People comment and say, but who is she? Where has she been? Blah, 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 blah. Along with that, when you hear people who are supposed to be in your circle say you will not make it, say they don't see you in the industry, planting seeds of doubt. I think the moment when people stopped questioning me or if I'll make it in the industry, when the negative comments stopped, was in 2015. When I started presenting on Pasala as well, and I had to prove myself, and I really had to, because my mom passed away in September and I was on air in October, and I had no time to grieve. And you know what we do. It doesn't matter what we go through in life. Once the camera flips on, you have to put on your face. You have to put on, and I think that's when people stepped back. And that's when people, because I was 22 turned 23. And a baby, that everyone I interviewed used to say, you're such a baby in the industry. You're just starting out, like, be calm, just take it one step at a time. But it was honestly hard because you had no time to grieve. You just lost your mom. You have to take care of your 4-year-old sister. And there you get the call saying, we need you in Springbok of vereniging. En ek weet nie waar hierdie plekke is nie. And I need to go find these places. So it was hard, but that's when I saw a shift in my followers and even in the engagement I got and the amount of people who started engaging with me. But I had to do a lot of proving. I had to prove people wrong. I was accused of being a pretty face. When I was like, me, a pretty face? I was just told, I was bullied saying that I'm not a pretty face. So when people said I'm just a pretty face who's trying to make it on the TV screens, for example, again, naysayers pop in. And it took time, friend. This whole journey took time. And it's still a journey. I'm not saying I am where I want to be or where I'm meant to be. I know I'm where I'm meant to be, but this is not the end goal. I still have big goals. I still have big dreams that I'm working towards. But it's a whole journey. You have to take this industry day by day, hey?
True, Dave. True. And I wanna talk a little bit about like the industry, like your experience in the industry. Like you started off very young, right? And you're a grown woman now, and as you grew, your experience grew, your challenges grew, and everything like that. Can you tell us about what was the industry like back then when you started, especially focused as a female? What were the opportunities like? What were the challenges like as a female in your niche, doing what you were doing growing up back then in the industry? Versus what is it now? What are the challenges do you face now? Are they still the same? Is it still the same, or things change for females now and things change for you? What's your experience?
Look, I'll speak from a personal perspective. When I started off in the industry, there were, for me personally, more opportunities for the industry that I was in. And now, I won't say it's less. It could be COVID. It could be many different things. But it's been tough. And if anyone tells you any different, they're lying. But for a female in our industry, it is difficult. They either look for one of two things. And if you don't have one of those two things, you will either make it because you are super different and you can bring something that no one in the industry has, because we have a big industry with amazing people, talented people from singers, presenters, whatever your industry is, it's tough to stand out to make sure that you get booked instead of XYZ. And in order for you to be booked, you need that experience. But in order for you to get that experience, you need to be booked. So it's like a vicious circle. And sometimes the opportunities are incredible. You get booked for every event, you do MC gigs here, you fly here and there and back, and then you land and you have a modeling gig. And now that was me at the beginning. But I do realize things do change as a female when you get older. And I do think all of us, not just females, we have like a little time span of when we are relevant and when we aren't. So it's our jobs to remain relevant and to watch who our target audiences are, who our followers are. You have to stay on top of things. This is a 24/7, 365 job. I'm sure you know.
Yes, yes. No, definitely, man. And like, I mean, you've been doing well. You've been doing well. And
Thank
like,
you.
like there's no time to like just chill, You're not like, okay, I'm tired now, You have like 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. And while that is happening, you're already having meetings about things that you want to do. And this is when you have time, when you have a break in this, And even with this COVID thing, you've innovated everything like that.
Thank you.
Had any mentors along your way that have like came in and like helped you and gave you advice? And please explain to us the importance of having a mentor, if you had any.
So I think I've always had a mentor. As cliche as this might sound, when I was young, it's always been my dad, because my dad is a phenomenal businessman. He's been the MD of a medical company. He's always been so driven. He's always been so inspiring. Whenever I needed advice, whether it's personal advice or whether it's career advice, he would always be the one I would go to, because I always strived as a young girl to be like him. After that, it became, after my dad, who is still my mentor, it became Joanne Strauss in 2015 when I did Social Star and went to Mauritius with her. Went to Mauritius with Joanne Strauss, guys. She was phenomenal for various different reasons. And she explained to me the power of social media and how you can monetize it. So I always looked up to Joanne Strauss since entering Miss South Africa. Actually, the year that she won, I watched Miss South Africa. So she was like my goal person to be as a young girl. So when I got the opportunity to meet her and sit with her and, ask her questions and pick her brain a little bit, I got to learn so much from her. We went for a couple of coffees. And I think the best part is she was a silent mentor. And I knew she was doing it, because we never put a label on it. We never said she's my mentor. Every coffee we had, every time we saw each other, I knew she was silently mentoring me. And that's what I think is so important. If you have someone who shares the same vision, or you strive to be like, or you have the same morals and values, because that's very important when it comes to picking a mentor as well. Make sure you kind of want to go on the same road, but you also share the same morals and values. But the silent mentors are the real ones, eh? I mean, when they come into your life and they play such a vital role without even labeling what they are doing or saying, I'm mentoring you. It's the silent ones to look out for, and choose them wisely.
Yeah. No, true. I would like agree with you 100%, because currently I do have a silent mentor, and it's exactly like you described, like the conversation, like the interaction that you had with Joanne. It's exactly like that. We meet up for lunch. I called him a mentor before. He's like, no, I'm not a mentor, but I know the type of like exchange and the information that is giving, and just the way that this is going. I'm like, this is exactly, it's all the box of like a mentor, but he's so humble that he doesn't want the title, and he just give back, and like, it's really, it's awesome. And like you said, it's important to have someone, show you the ropes and all of that. Tell me, on your journey, like, have you, I'm sure there's some celebrities that you've been like, "Oh, I wish I could meet this person, and I wish I could like share the stage with this person, or I wish I could do a job with that person or whatever." Are there any moments that you actually reached like that, where you used to look up to someone and then you found yourself actually being next to that person? And there are there more people that you'd like to share the stage with, share an opportunity with?
So the first person or the first big celebrity I got to meet that I never thought was possible with was Jay something from Akasa.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like I was 21 and that was like a, oh my word moment. And then it
Yeah.
was Bonang Mateba and she was so lovely. She was so kind. Jeannie D was one of them. And obviously, I mean, imagine your first time meeting your celeb girl crush is in Mauritius and you get to
Yeah.
spend a whole week with them. I mean, that was surreal. That was honestly, that was life changing because when you grow up, you look at celebrities like, oh my word, they can't be human, they can't be real. You put them on this pedestal, like, wow. And I think this industry taught me so much. Like, these are real people with real lives, with real stories, with real problems as well. Um, and they have incredible and inspiring journeys. Like, we need to remember these people that we look up to, they are people at the end of the day, and they also have their struggles. I think the reason why I'm saying this is because I know social media, can be a fantastic tool, and it can also be such a harmful tool where young girls or young boys go online and you think this life that someone chose to put on their phones or these photos that someone chose to share is their real life, when these are the best moments. We only
Yeah.
share the best moments. So when real people, when celebrities or whatever you want to call them, step out and they share the struggles and they share their truths and they share what they are going through, that inspires those young people as well. Seeing that, it's not just all glitz and glam, seeing that, this photo has a massive filter on it. So having this type of body is unrealistic and they don't always only have fantastic lives.
Yeah.
I think that is important as well to
Yes.
always take into account.
Actually, let's go there. Let's go behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, as a female,
Mm.
like I've heard this in so many ways, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard this kind of thing, that sometimes it gets a little like dark, in terms of like people like, oh, you want this cover, you have to come to my hotel, or you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to. Have you experienced anything like that? And it's not always. Sometimes it's blunt, and sometimes
Mm.
it's like a bunch of like sweet, like they
Mm.
like to lead on with sweets, and you're like, where's this leading to? And then you're just like, oh my word, no, no, no.
Mm.
Have you found yourself in anything like that? Any of those challenges come your way?
Thankfully, I have not.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that's where my childhood comes in when I say I'm really thankful for how I was raised. I'm very, very, very aware of, and even when I was young, very young, I was always aware of how, even online, how someone would make me feel. I'm not easy to reel in at all. And
Yeah.
I've never been in a situation like that. And I think it's because I'm completely closed off for anything that could do any harm to myself as a female and to potentially my career or my brand. So I'm very, very cautious and I'm very thankful that nothing like that happened to me before. But then again, I have a 10-year-old baby sister who still needs to get on social media, not anytime soon. You trust me, but who needs to somehow also be, well, she is being raised very strict, and I'm very private when it comes to her and showing her on any platform. But for little girls and for young girls who are just getting on social media, how to teach them what kind of predators are there and how to know when they are a predator trying to reel you in or trying to trick you or whatever. Because like I said, social media can either be fantastic if you know how to properly use it and protect yourself, or it can be completely harmful.
Yeah. And earlier on, you spoke about like I'm not I can't remember, but it was something that it was an achievement that you got, and at the same time you had to deal with your mom passing, and
Yeah.
you had to like you said, had this going on, you had to be in different places and all of that stuff, and that's essentially like the price of fame, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's
My cat made an appearance.
happen. I'm so used to you at least have a cat, not someone random walking past.
No,
You
no, no.
know,
I put it like this because I'm so scared Donovan pops up somewhere.
and like and we would say like that is actually the price of fame. You know, that's what you have to deal with. You know, you just have to like pick it up and just like, you know, put your big boots on and just finish the job. You know, the show must go on. You know, that's what they where that term comes in. You know, and we would say, you know, that's the price of fame. You just have to deal with that. Is there any like dark things that you've experienced, you know, like you went to a rap party and people were doing coke or whatever, like things that you never knew that comes with the industry, some experiences, not necessarily like you personally, like, but you just experienced so like, oh wow, and you just had to like be okay with it because like, ugh, that's the price of fame, you know, that's how it goes, you know. You see like people like, okay, I'm going on set now, you know, name any, you don't have to name any people. Okay, person. But have you experienced anything like that was actually a shocker to you to be like, whoa, things are not all glitz and glamour, you know? Is there any things like that?
Once again, thankfully, no, but I've heard things.
Yeah. What have
I can't listen, fam. I'm not here to get into trouble, but
we don't want names, but paint the picture. Paint the picture for viewers that have no idea what happens behind the scene. Paint the picture. You can use fake names or whatever, but just say like, yo, behind the scenes, give us an idea.
So basically, obviously, I've heard of.
This is also the price of fame. It's the price of fame. You know, some people have made sacrifices.
Yeah.
These kind of sacrifices, you know. Some people who didn't know better, and the thing is, people always assume that, you know, if you're famous or you're in the industry, that your head's always right, things are always perfect in your life, you're always making the perfect decisions. We make mistakes too, you know, and we have to learn through some hard life lessons. And sometimes while we're famous, we're learning through these hard life lessons, you know. So it's not always glitzing. So like when we speak about these people who did certain things to get to certain places, we don't speak about them in a way like, ew. We speak about like they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. Because if you actually ask them now, would you do that again? Or would you tell someone who's getting to be like, hey, just do this? Obviously, their view on the whole thing would be different. So that's why we want to speak about it, like, because we want to make it real, you know?
Yeah.
Especially for those who are in the industry, who are like actually trying to like aspire something, should know these kind of things. Mm-hmm.
Well, the things that I do, you're good at spinning a story, eh? Sure. I think the worst thing that I think stop
That you heard.
that I heard and that I know can happen that shouldn't happen. I mean, for example, we all know the movie Honey. Do you remember the movie Honey, the dance movie with Jessica Alba? There's a scene in the movie where she is pulled aside into a room with that producer that hired her to be a choreographer. So when he pulled her aside and tried to make a move on her, she chose to do the right thing by removing herself from the situation, even though she knew she could get fired. Now, my story is the opposite. And what I'm trying to say, I know of people who chose to let things happen, which shouldn't have happened, and which they have trauma from. because it's a hectic situation and you have to heal from it. You have to speak about it. And for years they couldn't speak about it because in their mind it was a choice. And that's definitely never the route to go. And that's my opinion. You can do whatever you want to do in life. I'm not here to tell you what you can and can't do. I can't tell you not to do drugs. You're going to make your own decision. I will ask you not to, and I can give you all the negative effects, and I can tell you what you can do in place of, but at the end of the day, you'll always choose to do what you want to do. And in this industry, you'll face difficult times where you might be faced with either or. Either you do this or you'll get fired. Either you do this or you can't get to your next step where you want to go. But I think it's very important to know that your life and your circumstances, your choices, your feelings, your emotions, it's all in your control. All of that you can change. And it's one decision that can either help you or break you and make the right one for yourself. I mean, if I'm ever in a position where I get told either you do this and it's something hectic or something that will cause me trauma or be fired, I'll walk out of this entire industry and I won't look back. And that's me. That's always been me. That's personally always been. I'm very, very strong-minded. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. And thankfully, I haven't been in a situation where it's been a traumatic one. In the industry.
And thank God. And like,
thank God.
Like you also put it there, you know, sometimes these people don't even know that they're getting themselves into something. But, you know, like I said, sometimes they lure you in, like they're giving you sweets, you know. They're like, okay, do this. We go to this meeting, and then they tell you, join the after party, join us at the after party, you know, and they're buttering you up, and, you know, they send you on this journey, making you believe that you're going to get this, you know. And then at the last straw, you know, they finally, once they like they feel comfortable now, they think that you're comfortable now, they see that you're comfortable, and then they just pull off that mask and be like, actually, I actually want you to come to because I'm the guy who makes things decide, and this is what you have to do. You have to please me in that way, you know. And some of them are really scared, some of them really want the opportunity more than anything, so they kind of like switch in the moment. They switch off, just do what they need to do, and then they get the opportunity, and like you say, years later it creeps back. It's something, it's like a mental health issue at the beginning, late in stage, you know. It sometimes affects your relationship, it sometimes affects the way the jobs that you want to take, the way that you look at yourself. It affects people around you even, you know, without you even knowing. And you pushing it down and just reacting from it blindly, it could make you someone who's snappy, it could make you someone who's addictive, and not knowing.
I just want to add that if you are in a position that we just spoke of, anyone who's watching, if you have been in a position like that, or you currently are and you don't know how to get out of it, it's so important to speak up. Because I'm sorry, but those masks, if you have the guts to unveil your mask and show this person who you really are, then you better show the world who you are. That's my opinion. So many women are standing up for what they've been through, from their abusers, people who has hurt them or whatever they've done, and they're coming out of the woodworks. They're coming, even if it happened years ago, come out, speak up, because the world deserves to know who these predators are, because that's what they are.
Yes, and most importantly, you as the victim deserve closure, so you can heal and move on, and maybe
you can
just
save someone else.
Yes,
you can save someone else.
Yeah, even if it's like anonymous, just putting it out there so that people can know that I've also been through it. So reading the comments and seeing the support, that also is like a bit of healing, you know, just to be like, wow, that was actually like heavy on my chest, you know, something I couldn't share with my partner, something I couldn't share with my kids, something I couldn't share, but in this platform, I've shared it with. So please, like Mishka said, please do not carry these things. Everything in life is a lesson, good or bad, no matter how
I
extreme on both scales, no matter how extremely good, how extremely bad, it's all lessons. And we should never, ever get stuck in those emotions of how we felt.
mm,
It's all of us just for us to learn from and move on and teach and do better. And sometimes
amen.
calmer, sometimes calmer. So yes, so please, guys, do not get caught up in that. Do not let your past define who you are today. Do not let it define your
Mm,
relationship. Do not let it define your way forward. Please speak about it. Let's heal from that. This is why we
yes.
speak about the price of fame, so that people can know that these things happen, that manipulation is out there, and that these
Mm-hmm.
challenges are out there. And we do know people who have done certain things, you know, and who regret it now. So yes, thank you so much for sharing that, you know, and thank you for allowing us to go there. Now, Mishka, we're gonna be wrapping this up right now, but I have this one question. We've had
Yes.
a amazing time with you tonight, Mishka. So thank you also for being a guest on the Price of Fame.
Of course. I wish I could do this the whole day, but face to face.
Yeah, you know, eat and then we have some
Oh,
drinks
cup
and
of
chillax.
coffee.
So yeah,
Yes. Love that. Next time.
I remember the last time seeing you, it was that kind of vibe, you know. We were really
Oh, it
like
was
having.
amazing.
So that's the last memory I have of you. But now, Mishka, you, if I gave you a time machine and you could go
Yeah.
all the way back to the very first moment, the young Mishka with all that, all of these naysayers, and you believing all of that, what advice would you tell the young Mishka who's who's just stepping into the industry right now with all of this anxiety and all of this happening in your head? What would you actually tell her right now, knowing who you are now and how far you've come now with your lessons and knowing the lessons that you've learned? What would you tell her to prepare for the journey?
I would start off by saying, if you think you can, you can. And the focus being on you can. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we faced in our lives, doesn't matter how we grew up, who raised us, who didn't raise us, what we faced in school, the bullies, the naysayers, the online bullies, the social media bullies. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because once again, the biggest thing I've learned in my soon to be 29 years of life is what anyone else thinks of you has nothing to do with you. That's the most important thing to always remember. And that if you think for a second that you can do something, anything, remember that you can, because you are fully in control of your heart, of your feelings, of your whole entire life. You
Yes,
have to get a moment where that snaps and where you
yes.
know that. And I promise you, your entire life will change.
Wow. Wow. That
That's
is
what I would
really
tell little Mishka.
powerful. That is powerful because that's the one thing you really needed to know and needed to
I
hear
did.
at the time. And now that you know that, being through all that you've been through, you know, that's the one thing you would tell her, like, yo, I don't want to make this all complicated. This is me from the future. This is you from the future. I just want to tell you that everything that you think in your head, you can do. Okay? Go, girl. No, that's cool. That is really awesome.
Brilliant.
I say that was my last question, but this is one thing I see you. You are actually like a complete hustler, if I should put it that way, you know. And even that,
Yes.
and what you're telling yourself is like, yo,
Yeah.
hustle. What you
Mm.
see, your mind, do it, you know. And
Amen.
exactly that's how I walk my life, you know. I've done so many different things, you know, and I've like really pushed and tried so much to learn so many things and like learn like my do my best in every avenue, you know. And I would say the same thing because someone once told me you can do anything, you can be anything that you dream of. And I was like, okay, so if I want to play hockey, so can I play hockey? You know, and you do it and you just find yourself going that far. Is there anything that you are really looking forward to doing something new now with your career? Like, but for me, where I see you in an action movie, I think you would do really well in an action movie. tie your hair up, pull out some guns.
Dude, imagine that. Like a Lara Croft kind of situation.
Exactly. I don't want to say Croft, but exactly that. I really see you on a vibe like that.
I'm feeling you. I think whoever's watching, you know, any movie producers from South Africa, I'm here, I'm your girl. No, you know what? Thank you. There is a few things that I'm planning and working towards for 2021. I'm one of those people, I work hard in silence. I keep things on the DL, and then you'll see it bloom. And sometimes, and I think it's also important to know that not everything works out the way you plan. Sometimes COVID-19 can happen. You know, sometimes we can just fall into a worldwide pandemic.
Yes.
But continue the hustle, continue to work hard. That's where I'm at, because like you said, I remember you saying at the beginning of your 2021, you had major plans and set things in stone, and then whoop, things had to take a... Now that's where I'm at right now with personal projects, but I'm looking forward to whatever 2021 throws at me, whether they are opportunities or challenges, because you said it. Everything you go through in life is a learning opportunity.
Yes, good or bad, good or bad.
Good
all
or bad.
Make you strong and move forward. Mishka,
Amen.
You have been a blessing. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared tonight, and you've made it so amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, please support Mishka on all of our platforms. Please, please, please. This is how we grow our own platforms and how we grow our distance in. So please, your comments, your likes, your shares, they mean something, and they actually mean the world to us when we're trying to increase or put our brands out there and grow our brands. So please support Mishka on all of our platforms, and let's make the entertainment industry within South Africa the best industry, supported by locals, because local talent is lekker talent. Mishka,
yes.
Thank you very much.
For having me.
Yes, thank you so much. May enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, Mishka.
You too, my friend. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. So there you have it. That was Mishka Loesch. Like I said, please go and support her on all of the social platforms. Also, support me on my social platforms. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is on Facebook, Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. And you can also catch me on Instagram at Lunga Tshuka. That is at Lunga Tshuka. Also go on to my YouTube page and like and subscribe. Please, guys, like and subscribe on my YouTube page. Share this interview with so many other people. Share it, watch it over and over, and just have a joy. Anyways, that is it from me. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host. Good night.